Did you know one man created the world's first spy network and changed warfare forever? In 1624, Cardinal Richelieu became chief minister to France's weak king, Louis XIII. France was surrounded by powerful Habsburg enemies and torn apart by rebellious nobles. But Richelieu had a revolutionary idea. Instead of relying only on armies, he would win through information. He recruited servants in foreign courts, bribed postal workers to intercept letters, and trained agents across Europe. His spies used secret codes and reported directly to him from enemy capitals. When French nobles plotted against the crown, his network exposed every conspiracy. One by one, rival factions fell as Richelieu's agents gathered damning evidence. His greatest triumph came when intercepted Spanish communications revealed their planned invasion of France. Armed with this intelligence, he crushed their strategy before they even crossed the border. By 1642, France had become Europe's dominant power through superior information. Richelieu proved that knowledge was more powerful than cannons. His methods became the blueprint for every intelligence agency that followed. Here are 5 things you didn't know about the Plague of Justinian. First, this pandemic killed 50 million people in just 6 years, wiping out 40% of Constantinople's population and nearly destroying the Byzantine Empire. Second, the disease was so horrific that victims' bodies turned black and swelled so badly they couldn't fit through doorways when carried out for burial. Third, Emperor Justinian himself caught the plague, but somehow survived while his entire empire collapsed around him, watching helplessly as his grand plans crumbled. Fourth, entire cities were abandoned with rotting corpses filling the streets faster than anyone could bury them. And grain ships arrived in Constantinople's harbor with their entire crews already dead. Fifth, this single pandemic destroyed Justinian's dream of reconquering the Western Roman Empire and weakened Byzantium so badly that it enabled the Islamic conquests just decades later. One plague ended 1,500 years of Roman dreams forever. Did you know an elderly castrated man became Rome's greatest general and saved an empire? In 552 AD, 70-year-old Narses faced complete humiliation when Emperor Justinian recalled him from Italy after crushing defeats. Younger generals mocked the eunuch, calling him weak and past his prime. But Justinian gave him one final chance to reclaim Italy from the Gothic barbarians. Narses spent months building a diverse army of Lombards, Huns, and Roman veterans. At the Battle of Tagenai, he faced the entire Gothic nation in arms. While enemy cavalry charged, Narses positioned his archers in a deadly crescent formation. The Goths rode straight into a killing field. Their king died in the first assault, and panic spread through their ranks. In hours, Narses destroyed an entire civilization. Italy belonged to Rome again for the last time in history. This forgotten eunuch had briefly restored the Western Roman Empire through pure tactical genius. Age and physical limitations meant nothing against a brilliant mind. Did you know a secret weapon so terrifying it saved an empire for 800 years? In 670 AD, Byzantine engineers created Greek fire, a liquid incendiary that could burn on water and never be extinguished. This ancient napalm was deployed through bronze tubes mounted on Byzantine warships, shooting streams of unstoppable flame across the waves. During the Arab siege of Constantinople, enemy sailors watched in horror as their wooden fleets burst into inferno. The water itself seemed to catch fire around them. The formula was so classified that only the emperor and his chief engineer knew the secret recipe. This 1,000-year-old chemical weapon single-handedly prevented Arab conquest of the Byzantine Empire. For centuries, enemies fled at the mere sight of those bronze tubes. But when Constantinople fell in 1453, the secret died with the empire. Modern chemists have tried for decades to recreate the exact formula. They still can't figure it out. The most effective weapon in medieval history remains a mystery. Here are 5 things you didn't know about the Ptolemaic Dynasty's shocking family secrets. First, Ptolemy II married his full sister and made this mandatory for all future pharaohs to maintain divine bloodline purity for 300 years. Second, Cleopatra VII was the product of 11 consecutive generations of sibling marriages, making her family tree essentially a straight line. Third, Ptolemy VIII took this even further by marrying both his sister and his niece simultaneously, creating complete succession chaos across Egypt. Fourth, when siblings weren't available, the dynasty practiced uncle-niece marriages instead, ensuring no outside blood ever entered the royal line. Fifth, genetic analysis reveals the devastating consequences. The last Ptolemaic children suffered from severe physical deformities and mental disabilities. Their inbreeding was so extreme that the final heirs were too weak to rule effectively. This genetic collapse contributed directly to the dynasty's downfall when Rome annexed Egypt. 3 centuries of forced incest destroyed one of history's most powerful royal families from within. Did you know history's first peace treaty was signed over 3,000 years ago and still influences international law today? In 1274 BC, Egyptian pharaoh Ramesses II and Hittite king Hattusili III fought the massive Battle of Kadesh. Both sides claimed total victory in the same battle. But here's the twist. Instead of fighting again, they decided to make peace. The result was revolutionary, identical treaties carved on silver tablets, one written in Egyptian hieroglyphics, the other in Hittite cuneiform. These weren't simple truces, they contained surprisingly modern diplomatic language, mutual defense pacts, extradition agreements, even trade deals. The treaty included marriage alliances between royal families and non-aggression clauses that sound like they came from today's United Nations. Copies were displayed in both capitals, witnessed by thousands of gods from both pantheons. This Bronze Age masterpiece established the template for international diplomacy. The same principles we use today for peace treaties were invented 33 centuries ago by 2 kings who refused to keep fighting. Did you know the most unlikely diplomatic gift in history was a living elephant that traveled 3,000 miles to seal an alliance? In 802, Abbasid Caliph Harun al-Rashid sent Charlemagne the most extraordinary present imaginable, a massive elephant named Abul Abbas. This wasn't just any gift, it was a calculated political move. Both rulers wanted to crush their mutual enemy, the Byzantine Empire. The elephant's journey was epic, 3 years crossing from Baghdad to Aachen, through hostile Byzantine territory, over treacherous mountain passes, surviving the brutal alpine winter. When Abul Abbas finally arrived at Charlemagne's court, he became an instant sensation. Nobles traveled from across Europe just to witness this miracle. For 8 years, the elephant lived as a symbol of the emperor's international power. This friendship between Christianity's greatest king and Islam's most powerful caliph shocked the medieval world. It proves medieval politics were far more sophisticated than we imagine. Sometimes the most powerful alliances come in the most unexpected packages. Did you know one pharaoh tried to erase 3,000 years of Egyptian religion and almost succeeded? In 1353 BC, Akhenaten became pharaoh of the most powerful empire on earth. Egypt had worshipped hundreds of gods for millennia, but he had a different vision. At first, he simply promoted Aten, the sun god, above all others. Then he began closing temples one by one. Ancient statues were defaced, their faces chiseled away in the darkness. Priests who refused to abandon their gods were stripped of power and wealth. He built an entirely new capital city called Amarna, dedicated solely to Aten. For 17 years, Egypt's religious identity was turned upside down. The powerful priesthood plotted in secret, waiting for their moment. Then Akhenaten mysteriously died, and everything changed overnight. His successor immediately restored the old gods and abandoned the new city. The revolution was so thoroughly erased that archaeologists only rediscovered it in the 1800s. One man's obsession nearly rewrote history forever. What if the Umayyad dynasty had survived the Abbasid revolution in 750 instead of being massacred at the Battle of the Zab? the Islamic world would have looked completely different. With the Umayyads still in power, their armies wouldn't have stopped at Spain. They would have pushed deeper into Europe, potentially conquering France and threatening the rising Carolingian Empire. But here's the unexpected consequence nobody talks about. Sustained Umayyad naval power would have prevented Byzantine recovery entirely. The Mediterranean would have become an Islamic lake, cutting off European trade routes to Asia. Damascus would have remained the center of Islamic power, not Baghdad. This means Persian influence on Islam would never have taken hold. The empire would have stayed unified from Spain to India. And here's the most shocking part. A united Islamic empire of this size might have been strong enough to resist the Mongol invasions. One survival decision could have changed the entire course of world history. Did you know 3,000 Viking warriors nearly conquered all of England in just 13 years? In 865, the sons of Ragnar Lothbrok landed in East Anglia with one goal: revenge for their father's death. The great army was unlike anything England had ever seen. Professional warriors with horses, moving faster than any English force could respond. They carved through kingdoms like a blade through cloth. First, Northumbria fell, then Mercia crumbled under their assault. King Edmund of East Anglia refused to abandon his Christian faith, so they executed him as a martyr. By 878, only one kingdom remained: Wessex. Alfred the Great was driven into the marshes of Athelney, seemingly defeated. But from that swamp, he launched one final desperate attack at Edington. Against all odds, Alfred's forces shattered the Viking army. The victory saved Wessex, but the Vikings kept half of England. They called it the Danelaw, and it changed English culture forever. Danish words, laws, and customs became part of England's DNA. One campaign reshaped a nation for centuries.
Quick reminder, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. It helps the channel more than you might think, and it keeps you plugged into all the upcoming content. Appreciate every one of you watching.